UFC 319. August 16th, in the main event, the middleweight champion, Chimaev Du Plessis, will defend his belt against the undefeated 16-0 Khamzat Chimaev.
Khamzat Chimaev! One and done!
Wants to see the show, I give the show. If I get the chance to finish somebody, I do it.
10-0! The hype is real!
Coming for everybody! Kill everybody! Ah!
If I smash everybody, the belts will come.
Middleweight champion of the world, Chimaev still knocks Du Plessis!
Good shot.
Shoots right hand! Gets Du Plessis!
That has been my goal from the first day in the UFC, is to be champion and ultimately be the greatest fighter of all time.
Plessis! He gets it! Du Plessis remains the man at 185!
It would be amazing to beat him. For my legacy, I want to be the greatest to ever do this. But Khamzat's next. Khamzat is next.
I can't think of a more chaotic matchup you could put in the octagon than Chimaev Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev.
For one man, UFC 319 was a coronation. For the other, it was a reckoning. On August 16th, under the bright lights of Chicago's United Center, the UFC middleweight belt changed hands in a way that left fans stunned. Not because of a shocking knockout or a highlight reel submission, but because of something else entirely. Control. Yes, tenderizing and pulverizing control with an absolute clinic in grappling. Well, wrestling to be precise, aka the art of domination. And while it did lead to Khamzat Chimaev walking out of the arena with UFC gold, pretty much unscathed and still undefeated, the fight left the entire UFC fanbase's knickers in a knot, and some just right out bored, questioning why they spent their hard-earned money to watch two grown-ass men roll around on the floor. Let us tell you why. But before we do so, make sure to tune into our videos by subscribing to our channel and hitting that bell icon for more videos and updates like these. We come with an extremely controversial but popular take. Is grappling ruining the UFC? As of right now, this question tears through social media, with the entire fan base in a split, with most mainstream viewers sharing this opinion. Here's the thing. After Chimaev's 5-round domination at UFC 319, the pay-per-viewers were quick to criticize the fight for being a snooze fest. According to them, grappling-heavy fights are too boring. They want knockouts and submissions, not aggressive cuddles, as one Reddit user put it, which is fair enough. The MMA rule set does favor the grappling advantage for control time. But does that mean that the UFC is making wrestling matchups instead of real fights and actively hurting the UFC's market? The mainstream audience seems to think so. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. On the other hand, we have hardcore fans, veterans, and mixed martial arts purists who simply believe that you shouldn't watch fights if you think grappling is so boring. These include MMA veterans such as Robert Whittaker, Demetrius Johnson, and Michael Bisping, who are all about the skill aspect of grappling and its dominant advantage it provides in the octagon. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson shot back at the anti-Khamzat comments during his YouTube livestream post UFC 319, saying, "If you guys don't want to watch grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, don't watch UFC," Johnson said. "Go watch One Championship, go watch lion fighting, go watch Glory." According to him, the fans are making it to be a bigger deal than it is, he expressed matter-of-factly. He spat out, saying next time if they don't want to watch a fighter like Khamzat with a grappling style, just turn the TV off. The funny thing is, leading up to the fight, Khamzat had pretty much nobody to bet on him, from sport veterans to casuals. This, by the way, included Mighty Mouse, who thought that Chimaev was going to take the win with his unconventional style that can steer the fight to his way. Guess Mighty Mouse is going to have to take that L along with Chimaev. So what really made the difference for Khamzat? Let's find out in our segment of Fight Analysis at Fight Lab World. Round 1, the takeover begins. Khamzat and Chimaev's touch gloves go back to their corners and get their game face on. The opening bell rings, and within seconds, Chimaev does what Chimaev does best. He shoots from halfway across the cage, like a predator waiting to ambush. He barrels forward, takes Du Plessis down with raw force, and plants him on the canvas. For the next 5 minutes, a mauling masterclass. Getting Du Plessis in a crucifix position, he lands several significant punches. Stuck, Du Plessis tries to tuck his head in to prevent Chimaev from getting an angle for harder strikes. Half a round left, and Du Plessis is still in survival mode. Du Plessis tries to gain some leverage by pushing his feet against the fence, but Mark Goddard, the referee, wasn't having any of it. Chimaev is still on top, but briefly takes him back as Du Plessis shakes him off. The only leverage Dricus gets in this round was a loose guillotine attempt that the Boers easily shrugged off. The result? 10-9, round to Khamzat. With Chimaev landing 97 total strikes in the first round alone, and Du Plessis? A total strike count of just 5. Kind of baffling, isn't it? And as for control time, all but a handful of seconds belong to Chimaev. Round 2. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Both fighters start with heavy high kick exchanges. Feinting a classic high cross to shoot, Chimaev quickly gets to work on securing the takedown. Du Plessis times and defends, but Khamzat runs his feet to finish it anyway. Transitioning to a rear body lock, Khamzat gets to work on strikes on the knees in his usual aggressive ground and pound game, accumulating strike volume and damage. Now frustrated, Dricus swings wildly over the shoulder that opens his back up for a rear naked choke. Though unsuccessful on the submission, the Boers maintains back control as DDP struggles to find an answer. The result? 10-9 to Chimaev again. 2 more takedowns and control time climbs to nearly 10 straight minutes, with significant strikes going up to 150 by the end of the round. Round 3, the Boers' blueprint. Sticking to his game plan, Chimaev shoots again to take down DDP, with what would become his 6th takedown of the fight, according to commentator John Anik. At this point, it didn't even look competitive if we're being honest. Still Knox is stuck under Chimaev, getting pounded with short but big strikes under the crucifix. Desperate, Du Plessis tries to explode out of the position, giving Chimaev even more leverage to dominate. This is when the fans start booing. Chimaev? Unbothered. He cuts open Du Plessis with a devastating elbow, and Dricus barely survives. With another 10-8 round to Chimaev and over 300 strikes, Boers looks to secure championship gold, but still hasn't finished. And Du Plessis, well, let's just say by the 3rd round he was basically in the trenches, stuck in single digits. 10-8 again, with round to Chimaev again. Statistically, the fight was already over, so he had to pull some kind of Hail Mary out of his hat to win at this point. For some fans, this was brilliance. For others, a snooze fest. Rounds 4 and 5, well, you can take a guess. In round 4, mauling masterclass, Chimaev struck his way to multiple takedowns and ragdolled Du Plessis, face down to the mat, maintaining top control and pressure. And out of nowhere, Goddard stands them up to encourage action. This little hiccup did little to slow Chimaev, who scored another takedown and latched on with strikes. The crowd booed again, and Chimaev, unfazed. Another dominant 10-8 for Chimaev, bringing the total to 40-34 in his favor. Round 5, the inevitable. Desperate, Dricus starts throwing volume, but Khamzat sharply throws a jab and shoots, getting to the crucifix, launching his punishing short strikes. In a surprising moment, Du Plessis managed to reverse his grip and push Chimaev onto his back, attempting a guillotine choke, before Chimaev regained top control, with seconds left on the clock. Du Plessis showed heart by trying to secure the back, but it was too little too late. This round went to Dricus at 10-9, but Chimaev's dominance sealed him the fight with a final score of 49-44. Here's what made the difference, the stats. Chimaev shot 17 times, converting 12 takedowns, the 3rd most in UFC title fight history. He had 21 minutes and 40 seconds of the fight in control, a record for the middleweight division and the 2nd most ever in the UFC. And the strike numbers? At an absurd 529 total strikes landed. No wonder he got that $50,000 bonus. Sheesh. And Du Plessis? The only thing that Dricus accomplished was the feat of taking down the mighty Boers for the first time in his UFC career, with a total of just 13 strikes in the entire 5 rounds. So the answer? Domination is what made the difference, and you can't get that kind of pressure without grappling. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Dominance doesn't always equal entertainment, and it's not new. We've heard it for years. GSP dominated with jabs and takedowns, was labeled as a safe player. Khabib Nurmagomedov smashed every opponent he faced, and yet fans still thought he was banal. And now, it's Chimaev on the red list of predictable fighters. But here's the reality. Grappling isn't just part of MMA. Grappling is modern MMA. Let's not count out Dricus Du Plessis either, a former judoka and wrestler. His MMA base got him wins over Adesanya, Whitaker, and Strickland. He was supposed to be unpredictable, dangerous, the man who cracked codes, right? Why did he choke against Chimaev? There were 0 answers for the chain wrestling, no ability to create space, and just 13 significant strikes landed. So, is grappling really killing the UFC? It depends. Hardcore fans see technical mastery and progress of the sport. But the casual fan buying pay-per-views? They want knockouts, they want blood, they want highlight reels. Because a mat return to crucifix doesn't trend on TikTok the way a head kick knockout does now, does it? This is the UFC's eternal balancing act, legitimacy versus entertainment, and they'll have to pick a side soon enough. Here's the million-dollar question. What now? Does the UFC match Chimaev up with strikers like Israel Adesanya again to chase the drama? Or do they let him reign in a way that risks losing fans? Let us know in the comments below. Smash that like button and subscribe to Fight Lab World for more breakdowns of the biggest fights in MMA.